We're over in the tunnel today and I'm going to share with you how I make compost and what I use it for. This here is some of the compost that I made last year. You can see it. It's rather good stuff, quite rich looking. Now, I use that compost for potting on. So for example, when I'm sowing seeds, I try to use a fairly sterilised compost that nothing else but the seeds come up in. But when I'm potting on the young seedlings, that's when I use this homemade compost without sterilising it. And here you can see pumpkins already potted on into it. And here. And this is some potting on I've done today. And then take a little walk up through the tunnel and I'll show you how I use it in the tunnel. So for example, here's some lettuce seeds which I just mixed in with the compost and literally just threw it down in handfuls so you can see where the lettuce is coming up. And the compost is rich enough and fertile enough to give those seeds a really good boost. Now here is where I've planted tomatoes, and I've dug out a nice big round hole and I've backfilled it with compost and then put the tomatoes in and then made a little well shape around the tomatoes so I can water directly around the roots. Everything that's growing in the garden that's been cut back or weeded goes on to the compost heap. Now this is this year's compost heap. It's a big L shape. And you can see that because it's cold composting, so there's no real heat builds up. There's a certain amount at this time of the year, but there isn't a continuous heat. Lots of seeds will germinate. There's some potatoes there and some seedlings. I think that's poppies there. And those little ash covered leaves, Honesty, Lunaria. So I put ashes from the fire, I sprinkle them all over. I put kitchen waste, I put paper, newspapers, brambles, everything, just everything that I cut back and that I'm not allowing to mulch around plants, I bring over to the compost heap. So this is the remnants of last year's heap, which I'm digging out. Now you can see it's really rich. Behind it is the continuation of that heap. It's just been allowed to thatch itself with weeds. Now as I dig into the heap, I pull the weeds and I just throw them here onto the left where the new heap is developing. Now that protects the heap from being washed by heavy rain. If you look down here, where the compost has been cleared from last year, I've set tyres on the ground and I've put in potatoes. And you can see the potatoes are all coming up rather nicely. This is a very handy way of growing them, because as the potatoes grow, I'll put another tyre on the top and backfill that with compost.